Hello, everyone. Welcome to New Gen Politics. So I've been seeing a pretty disturbing phenomena online over the last couple days because Trump came out with an announcement with the FDA that there is a strong correlation between Tylenol and autism. There seems to be a basis for actually believing this based on a lot of studies. And so the FDA is not recommending that pregnant women take Tylenol unless absolutely necessary. And yet, a bunch of liberal women online over the last couple of days are sharing videos of themselves, pregnant women, taking Tylenol purely just to spite Trump. And this is just insane to me. This is insane that the government comes out and says, you should probably not take this while you're pregnant. You should probably not take this drug. There's been a lot of speculation about this over the past because of the increased level of autism. There's been correlation with this. Now it seems we have causation for it. And yet, these people hate Trump so much that they're willing to threaten the life, the future of their child, their development, just to spite Trump, just a virtue signal about how much they hate Trump. And to me, that's pretty disgusting. So Trump came out and gave this announcement, and I'll play part of that now.
First, effective immediately, the FDA will be notifying physicians that the use of let's see how we say that. Acetaminophen. Is that okay? Which is basically commonly known as Tylenol during pregnancy, can be associated with a very increased risk of autism. So taking Tylenol is not good. All right, I'll say it. It's not good. For this reason, they are strongly recommending that women limit Tylenol use during pregnancy unless medically necessary. That's, for instance, in cases of extremely high fever, that you feel you can't tough it out, you can't do it. I guess there's that. It's a small number of cases, I think. But if you can't tough it out, if you can't do it, that's what you're going to have to do. You'll take a Tylenol, but it'll be very sparingly. It can be something that's very dangerous to the woman's health. In other words, a fever that's very, very dangerous, and ideally a doctor's decision, because I think you shouldn't take it. And you shouldn't take it during the entire pregnancy. They may tell you that toward the end of the pregnancy, you shouldn't take it during the entire. And you shouldn't give the child the Tylenol every time he's born and he goes and has a shot. You shouldn't give a Tylenol to that child. All pregnant women should talk to their doctors for more information about limiting the use of this medication while pregnant. So ideally, you don't take it at all. But if you can't tough it out, or if there's a problem, you're going to end up doing it.
So Trump is not making this illegal. He's not saying you can't take it. He's just saying it is strongly recommended that unless you are in dire need of Tylenol or any acetaminophen product, don't take it unless you actually are running a high fever. If your head hurts a little, if you're a little sensitive, if you feel muscle soreness or whatever, don't take the Tylenol unless absolutely necessary. And that seems to be a perfectly adequate, response. That seems to be a normal response. If you don't absolutely need to take the medicine that certainly looks like it causes autism, don't take it. And yet these liberal women are protesting that. They think it's crazy. They think that, Trump saying that they can't pop it like they're candies is somehow lunacy. It's lunacy that he's saying I can't down an entire bottle of Tylenol because I feel like it. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's the amount of hate these people have for Trump goes beyond irrational and to the point where it's actually dangerous to their own children. Of course, we already know these people hate children because they sacrifice them every year. A third of Gen Z has been sacrificed by liberal women. And so they seem to have no regard for the life of children anyways. So it's just nuts that they don't care. They don't want to listen to any recommendation. They think anything Trump says, he's just making up, and that he's just totally lying about it for some reason. It's like, guys, he's He's trying to help the population. He's trying to prevent the levels of autism we see. And he even says that in this address. The amount of autism we've seen, the increase in it, is mind-blowing. So let's take a look at that as well.
Just a few decades ago, 1 in 10,000 children had autism. So that's not a long time. And I've always heard, they say a few, but I think it's a lot less time than that. It used to be 1 in 20,000, then 1 in 10,000. And I would say that's probably 18 years ago. And now it's 1 in 31, but in some areas it's much worse than that, if you can believe it, 1 in 31. And I gave numbers yesterday. For boys, it's 1 in 12. I was told that's in California, where they have, for some reason, a more severe problem. But whether it's 1 in 12 or 1 in 31, can you imagine? That's down from 1 in 20,000, then 1 in 10,000. And now we're at the level of 1 in 12 in some cases for boys, 1 in 31 overall. So since 2000, autism rates have surged by much more than 400%. Instead of attacking those who ask questions, everyone should be grateful for those who are trying to get the answers to this complex situation.
So I've heard the excuse for the longest time, oh, we're just better at diagnosing it. We're just, we just see it more. We know more about it. No, if you believe that at this point, you're just insane. Like, you're just totally brainwashed. There is clearly an increase in the level of autism, and it's for a reason. Now, we can debate the reason, but the people who still say, well, it's not even, we're just diagnosing it more. There's no increase. You're bonkers. You've lost it. There is a reason, maybe multiple reasons, probably multiple reasons. And it pretty much is all going to have to come down to the inputs we put into our body, especially over the last century, which seems to be when this increase is taking place. And that could be a number of things. It could be the food, which the quality of the food has gotten way worse, put more chemicals, pesticides in it. Maybe one of those has a part to play in this. It could be the vaccines, not the concept of vaccines in general, but the sheer amount we give to children. We give them in high quantities. Maybe that has an impact. The preservatives in the vaccines. Nobody's saying the concept of the polio vaccine is what's giving autism. It's, in moderation, all these things are great. Same thing with the drugs like Tylenol, acetaminophen. Yeah, they're great in moderation when used properly. But the overuse of drugs may be leading to this as well within pregnant women, or just giving them to children. But to say that there's no cause, that all the correlation is just coincidence, that this massive increase, just because we're noticing it more, it's bonkers if you really believe that. And we can debate all day on what is and isn't causing the autism, but something is. And so when the government comes out and says, we think that this is causing the autism, at least a major part to play in it, do not take the medicine unless you need it. Somehow that is, bonkers to these people. It's insane that you suggest I only take medicine when I need it. That's crazy of you. How dare you infringe on my rights? So these people are just totally hopeless. It seems no matter what Trump says, no matter what he does, it's just totally wrong all the time. There's no leeway. There's no trust. And they say trust the science, but that's what the science is indicating, is something is causing this. There's strong correlations between these things. There's more studies being done that are directly linking the causes of autism to certain inputs in our body. And yet they say, oh, well, we don't trust it. Because there's this new branch of science, because science is now like a religion for atheists, that you have to prove something before you can actually do a study about it. So they say, well, there's no causation between the vaccines and autism, or between the medicine and autism. So we shouldn't even run a study. That's just a waste of time because we know it's not true. It's like, that's not how the scientific method works. You identify a correlation and then you do the research on it to see if it actually is caused by that factor. Maybe it's something else. But that's how the science is done. That's how science works, is there's a question at the beginning. Why do things fall to the ground? I'm curious about that. Why do things heat up when light hits them? I'm interested about that. I'm interested about this natural phenomenon. Why are we seeing a massive 100% increase in autism? I'm interested about that. Let me do some research. But they say, no, you have to prove things before you can do the research on them. That's that new religion of science. Just trust the science. And then when more science comes out that says, hey, maybe you're wrong about this. You can look in hindsight with COVID. Basically, everything they said about COVID was wrong, even though they said trust the science. And those people still will trust whatever the government says if the people they like are in charge. And then if Trump is in charge, then we don't trust the government for any other scientific data. And yeah, there can be conflict in the scientific community. That's normal. That should be good to, have people critique your work and ask questions and peer review it. But to say that we don't trust this at all, to even look into it, or even to say like, I'm not 100% sure. I'm just, a pregnant woman. I don't know that much about scientific literature, but the government comes out and says, we recommend you shouldn't take Tylenol unless necessary. The normal response would be, okay, I don't know if that's true or not, but I don't want to risk the future of my child. I don't want to risk the health of my child. So I'm just going to not take it unless I need it. And somehow that's a foreign concept to these people. They have to instead down an entire bottle of Tylenol just to spite Trump. They can't even go with, okay, maybe it's true, maybe it's not. I'm going to err on the side of caution. There's no caution when it comes to Trump. Anything he says, I have to do the opposite, and I have to take that to 100%. And that's what I think is just crazy about this whole situation. And it's just going to make things even worse for the future of our children, really. And when you're not able to look into these things about what is causing all of our health problems, America being like the most unhealthy country on the planet, and somehow you're saying, no, that's true. It's all made up. We don't trust the Trump administration to look into any of these things. Nothing's going to get better. Nothing's going to get done. When you can't even acknowledge there's a problem, and there are serious health problems by every facet of the human experience in America right now, mentally, physically, that's so obvious. They just say, oh, well, then no, there's not. It's not real. Let's not look into it. It's not our problem. It doesn't make any sense to me. So that's my thoughts on this. You made it all the way through the video. I appreciate it. If you like the content, like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. And thank you for watching.